You're now entering open space, a place of mystery, truth, and untold stories. Like and subscribe if you're ready for what's coming. Liam and Nathan sat in a cozy cafe in downtown New York. Outside, the city buzzed with life. They spoke of dreams, owning their own business, living free, answering to no one. Their eyes were full of fire. That night, they made a promise: never betray each other. 1 year later, Liam and Nathan worked in a small office on the 10th floor of an old building. They barely slept, living on cheap food, but their project was growing. Their eyes carried exhaustion and quiet pride. At their first investor pitch, Liam spoke with calm confidence. Nathan stood beside him, smiling. Businessmen in suits listened closely. It felt like the world was finally opening for them. Trust was absolute. The first big money came unexpectedly. Liam stared at his banking app in disbelief. They hugged and laughed like kids, and that night they roamed the city, feeling unstoppable under the glowing neon. Slowly, Nathan started taking meetings without Liam. "You're busy, I'll handle it," he said casually. Liam trusted him. After all, Nathan was his brother in arms. One night, Liam accidentally saw an email on Nathan's laptop. "The deal is closed. He suspects nothing." Liam's heart froze mid-beat. That same night, Liam confronted him. Nathan only smirked. "It's business, buddy. Your dreams were yours. Mine were different." Liam left everything behind. No office, no project, no friend. He wandered through rainy streets, soaking wet, feeling nothing. Everything he believed in was gone. Weeks passed. Liam lived in a cheap motel on the city's edge, surviving on junk food and broken dreams. But deep inside, a flame refused to die. He would fight back. Liam began planning revenge. Carefully, relentlessly, he researched Nathan's every move, every partnership. He would strike when Nathan least expected it. Nathan celebrated his success in a luxurious penthouse party. He clinked glasses with strangers, flashing fake smiles. High above the city, he felt invincible, unaware that Liam was watching from the shadows. Liam started leaking small pieces of information to Nathan's enemies. At first, it was minor, almost unnoticeable, but cracks began to appear in Nathan's empire. Nathan's investors grew restless. Deals fell apart mysteriously. His once perfect life began to wobble. Yet Nathan still smiled in public, refusing to show fear. Late one night, Nathan found a letter slipped under his door. No return address, just 6 chilling words typed neatly. "You forgot who built your kingdom." Panic started to creep into Nathan's life. He hired private security, changed his routines, slept with a gun under his pillow, but he couldn't escape the feeling someone was always watching. Meanwhile, Liam built himself back up, new connections, new plans. He became a ghost in the business world, unseen, unknown, but feared by those who whispered his name. Nathan's final mistake came when he trusted the wrong man, a new investor Liam had carefully placed in his path. Greed blinded Nathan to the trap. Within weeks, Nathan lost everything. His accounts frozen, his assets seized. The media feasted on his fall. Former friends vanished. Nathan stood alone against a storm he never saw coming. On a rainy evening, Nathan sat broke and forgotten at the same cafe where he once dreamed with Liam. A figure sat down across from him, silent. It was Liam. Nathan whispered, "Why?" Liam leaned in and said quietly, "You broke the only thing that mattered." Then he stood up and walked away, leaving Nathan in the ruins of his own betrayal. Liam disappeared into the crowd outside. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. The chapter was closed. Nathan's empire was dust, and so was their friendship. Nathan stayed at the cafe until morning, numb and hollow. He stared blankly at his cold coffee cup, trying to piece together where it had all gone wrong. Nathan wandered the streets like a ghost. No home, no money, no allies. New York, once his playground, now swallowed him without mercy. Weeks passed. Nathan rented a small dirty room above a broken down laundromat. The city noise never stopped, but he barely heard it anymore. Liam, meanwhile, grew stronger. His new business flourished quietly in the shadows. He built it on loyalty, not greed. Every move he made was careful, silent. One evening, Nathan saw Liam's name in an article, not about revenge, about rebuilding the city's forgotten neighborhoods. Different Liam, stronger, wiser. Nathan realized something then. He never understood Liam. Liam didn't destroy him for money. He destroyed him because Nathan had destroyed trust, the one thing Liam valued above all. Nathan scribbled a letter late at night. It wasn't an apology, it was a confession, surrender. He folded it carefully and placed it in an envelope. At dawn, Nathan left the envelope on the doorstep of a new building under Liam's name. Then he vanished into the sprawling city, nameless, forgotten, starting his life over. Liam found the letter hours later. He read it silently, no anger, no satisfaction, just a long, deep breath. Some wars leave no victors, only survivors. Liam stood in the building's lobby, the letter still in his hand. The city buzzed around him, but for a moment everything felt still. Was forgiveness possible? Nathan's life, now fragmented, took him to odd jobs. He worked late shifts in bars, fixing broken things, cleaning forgotten corners. New York swallowed him whole, and he never fought back. Weeks turned to months. Nathan heard whispers of Liam's success. The city's elite were talking about him again, not as the ghost of revenge, but as a symbol of redemption. One day, Nathan received an invitation to an exclusive charity gala. The sender, Liam. The message was simple: come, see what you've helped create. Nathan arrived at the gala. The room was filled with power, wealth, and whispered admiration. But as he stepped in, all eyes seemed to turn. Was he still the same Nathan, or just a shadow of who he was? Liam appeared in the crowd, calm and collected. He smiled when he saw Nathan, but the smile wasn't kind. It was a recognition of survival. "Welcome back, Nathan," he said, his voice steady. Nathan tried to speak, but the words didn't come. Liam's eyes held no anger, only quiet understanding. Nathan realized, in that moment, Liam had already moved on. The past was nothing more than a story. Liam handed Nathan a glass of champagne. "You've come a long way," he said. Nathan took it, his hands shaking slightly. The weight of their shared history was still there, heavy in the air between them. They stood in silence for a moment, two men who had once been everything to each other, now strangers. Nathan realized then that this was all Liam ever wanted. Not revenge, but peace. The night ended without fanfare. Nathan left without saying goodbye, but for the first time in months, the weight on his chest felt a little lighter. Maybe it was over. Maybe it never really began. Nathan couldn't sleep that night. And the city felt different now. The lights, the noise, they no longer felt like home. He realized he hadn't been home for a long time. It was just the past chasing him. Liam's company was growing faster than ever, expanding into new markets. The whispers about his generosity and resilience turned into legends, but every achievement felt like a shadow of the man he had once been. One afternoon, Nathan received a call. It was Liam. "I need you," he said simply. Nathan didn't know if he was ready to face him again, but there was no escaping the past. Liam had a new project. It wasn't about money or fame. It was about fixing the damage they both caused, a way to rebuild what had been broken, not just in business, but in their lives. Nathan arrived at the meeting, unsure of what to expect. The tension between them was palpable, but there was something different in the air now. It wasn't anger, it was understanding. As the meeting went on, Nathan realized the project was more than just business. It was a second chance for both of them, a way to make right everything they had wronged. By the end of the meeting, the plan was set. They would work together again, but not for profit. This time, it was personal. Nathan's role was clear: rebuild the broken parts of the city and his relationship with Liam. As the project began, they spent long days together. Their old dynamic returned, but with a new foundation. Trust built on understanding, not betrayal. It was the hardest thing either of them had ever done. Months passed. The project flourished, and with each brick laid, both Nathan and Liam felt the weight of their past lifting. They weren't friends again, but they had found a new kind of respect. The day the building was completed, Nathan stood alone on the rooftop, overlooking the city. He finally felt a sense of peace. The city had swallowed him whole once, but now it was where he had rebuilt himself. Um, Liam called Nathan to meet him at the top floor of the new building. He looked out at the city below, a city that had once been a battleground for their souls, but now it felt like home. The past seemed far away. Nathan arrived looking up at the towering structure. It was a symbol of everything they had worked for, everything they had rebuilt. But when he met Liam's eyes, he saw something deeper: gratitude, but also a question. Liam handed Nathan a piece of paper. "It's not over yet," he said, "but it's the beginning of something new." Nathan unfolded it, a blueprint for the future, their next project together, to fix the parts of the city they never could before. Nathan hesitated, but then nodded. It wasn't just about business, it was about redemption. "I'm in," he said, his voice steady. They both knew this wasn't just a job. It was a chance to create something that mattered. The new project began. Day by day, they worked side by side, each new development a reminder of the trust they had built. But it was more than that. It was a journey of healing, both for the city and for themselves. Months later, the project was nearing completion. The building that had once symbolized their failures was now the crown jewel of the city, a monument to resilience. But it was more than just the structure. It was about the bonds they had forged along the way. On the final day of the project, a large crowd gathered for the unveiling. The press, the city officials, the workers, they were all there. But for Nathan, the real unveiling was the one inside, the one where he finally forgave himself. Liam gave a speech. He spoke about the journey, about the people who made it possible. But when he looked at Nathan in the crowd, there was something unsaid, a moment of connection, a shared past. They had both come a long way. As the crowd dispersed, Nathan and Liam walked away together. No words were exchanged, but the silence spoke volumes. They didn't need to say anything. They had already said everything they needed to. In the end, Nathan realized it wasn't about the city or the projects. It was about the people you help along the way, the ones you grow with. They had both been broken, but together they were whole.